my hair okay? I literally just
No,
woke
your
up.
hair's good.
I didn't brush it. It's
I was thinking that too. I was like, yo, her shit is late.
I mean, I was lucky enough to see A Star Is Born last night. Yeah. It comes out on Friday, and even when the trailer dropped, it started to mean so much to so many different people for various reasons. So what is it like to know that you're a part of a film that's destined to be a classic?
I mean, it's awesome to just be a part of, a piece of art that people connect to in a real way. You know, that makes people feel, that, you know, that people can watch, you know, at least 3 scenes and be like, I connect to that. I remember when that happened to me. I remember how I reacted when that happened to me. I mean, that's all you really want as an artist, at least for me. It's like to do art that you know, invokes like real feeling and hopefully some kind of conversation within an audience member that they might have with themselves, where they challenge themselves to be a better version of who they are. You know what I'm saying? And ask themselves, am I being that version of myself? You know. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I hope the movie's a classic. I hope you know a gajillion people see it. You know, but I mean, we've already won. Like, we made a movie that we're all proud of. So like.
And there are so many layers, you know, it's a tragic love story. It's about addiction and the dangers of celebrity. So which part of those themes did you connect to the most as an artist?
I mean, to be completely honest, addiction is something that has been in my family for years, you know, unfortunately. You know, I've my family, we've had ups and downs with, you know, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, and this family member's high, this one's drunk, and you know, and you know, those are harsh realities, and even within myself, you know, having to understand that this runs in my family, and I can, you know, if I'm not aware of this, or if I don't catch this early, this could get me, and you know, I think, and then, you know, right now I'm having a moment in time in my life where the movies are great, and you know, I was blessed to. I mean, it all started with Hamilton. I mean, Hamilton was like the biggest explosion, I think, that ever happened to Broadway, at least in my lifetime. I mean, and it started there, and then the Spike Lee joined, and then this, and then that, and now A Star Is Born, and you start to see your world change around you, and you start to have to learn, you begin to like figure out that I have to learn how to work in this world now. I have to learn how to be. I have to also help the people around me adjust as well, because we're all not, you know, my family isn't used to it. I'm not used to it. You know, we were in Toronto, and I mean, you come out of your hotel and people screaming your name. Like, I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know, you feel that for the first time, and then, you know, but even on the flip side, you know, I come out, and I was just catching my car, but I had to run back inside to the hotel. People were screaming for a photo, and I couldn't take a photo with them in that moment because I had to go get my girl who was inside. And then I get booed on the way in, and I kind of laughed though, because I was like, "Oh, you made it! You got booed, bro." You know, like, you know. So it's you just learn to adjust, and you know, I think, you know, Stephanie's character in Alley, that kind of rise, or if you will, or that progression in her career and how she adapts to it, and then her being in love with Bradley's character, with Jackson Maine, and how that also affects your relationship. I just watched the Quincy Jones documentary. It was one of the most beautiful documentaries I've ever seen, like, in my life. And, you know, you watch this man who has worked, I mean, tirelessly, and I mean, has achieved almost everything you ever want to achieve as a musician. But him being honest, somebody said to him, they said, "Is there something that you failed at? Is there anything that you're not good at, or that you failed at, that you wish you could have been better at?" He's like, "Marriage." And it's so real. Mm-hmm. You know, that was such a real moment, and that hit me. I was like, wow, you know, He's like 82 years old, and he's achieved virtually everything you think a person would want to achieve, but laughingly responds, marriage, love, you know, and it's like, you know, this movie, that's what this movie's about, I think, you know, it's how to balance love and what that is, and you know, all different types, love with a person, love for a career, you know, love for yourself, how to balance that. So I think that's like that's what hits me the most about this film, you know.
And how have you been able to balance it all? I mean, you are on this skyrocket ship, huge stardom. So are you managing to balance everything, love, family, fame?
I do my best. You know, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I was perfect at it, you know. Sometimes I work myself to the bone, and I have to have a family member, either my girl, my mom, or somebody's like, what are you doing? Like, you have to slow down. Like, you're acting like you're running out of time. Like, just chill, you know. And I'm just thankful for the people in my life. My mom, my sister, my brother, my you know, my girl, my dog. You know, you have to take care of this, you know what I'm saying? You have to take care of this thing that's like alive and doesn't care about anything. Like, this little thing doesn't care how many movies you're in. It's like, yo, walk me.
Dogs don't
I'm
care
hungry.
if you're famous,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
What's up? You know, if I haven't been home for a week, she throws me all the shade.
Don't they? They ignore you when you get home.
All the shade. Just, I'm like, hey, you know, I'm so excited to see you. She's like, whatever.
And I also want to talk about your drama teacher.
Oh, yeah.
So how did your drama teacher kind of give you the confidence to kind of know that you were going to make it?
Well, so I auditioned in high school. I thought it was a talent show, and it wasn't. You know, I thought I was like being cool. It was a musical that the students wrote, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna audition. I heard this announcement, audition for this thing called Sing, which was a competition that the public schools used to do between each grade, and each grade would write a 45-minute musical, and then the audience would pick which one was the best one, and then that grade won. But we didn't have enough participants at our school, so because this was something they were trying to bring back from like the late '80s, early '90s. And so they combined all the grades. So we just made it into one show. The students wrote it. And I didn't know I was auditioning for a musical. So I go in there and I sing my John Legend song. I was like, yo, I killed that. I feel so good. She's like, okay, read these lines. I'm like, I don't do that now. What is this? She's like, it's a musical. I was like, miss, I don't do that. I don't do musicals. She's like, stop being stubborn, just like read the lines, try it. I'm like, all right. I do the sides, and then a few days later, I check the board, right? I wait till everybody's like not around. I, you know, scurry over to the board. I'm like, oh, I got into this musical, and they gave me a lead part. I was like, and then after that, I'm like, I can't do it. Miss Steinwise, Sarah Steinwise, she goes, I think you should do this. I think you'd be good in this, and I think this would be good for you. And you know, eventually I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And I got on stage, and it was the first moment in my life where I found something that I loved just as much as playing baseball, if not more. You know, I loved playing ball. It was, you know, my dad was a legend in my neighborhood. My brother, and then my cousin was also we played on the same team in high school. So I was kind of in this. I was like in this franchise of, you know what I'm saying, of family members just killing it, playing ball. And I always loved it, but there was something inside of me that was like, you know, especially I got into my senior year and I wasn't enjoying the game like I used to. And I was kind of uncomfortable, and I was like, why am I not enjoying the game like that? And I think it was just like God's way of showing me like this path, and I did the show, and I fell in love. I was like, all right, maybe I'll do the next one. I did the next one, and then I did the next two my senior year. And I didn't have, you know, I was thinking about going to the Navy because all of my college applications had gotten withdrawn in my senior year. I was struggling hard, and you know, my family, there was some issues in my family, and we couldn't get paperwork in time, and it was all sorts of, everything was kind of like messy a bit, but this teacher, man, she just wouldn't give up. She was like, "You're not going to the Navy. There's no way you're going to the Navy." She was like, she gave me a pamphlet for one college, and I was like, some girls on the pamphlet, and her hand is all out, and she's like with a microphone. I'm like, I'm never gonna get in there. She's like, just try, audition. I'm like, all right. I go and audition, and but she paid for my application because I didn't have the $50 to pay for the application. She then had me come to her house and write the essays in her kitchen at her dining room table because I was at one of my friend's house and I was telling him, I'm like, I'm gonna give up, I'm just gonna go to the Navy. I don't wanna deal with this anymore. It's my way out. And he called her, my friend Jason, from high school, and he goes, he's still one of my closest friends to this day. He goes, Sarah, he's wilding out. Miss Steinwise, he's wilding. Can you I don't know what to do. She said, put him on the phone. I get on the phone. She said, come to my house right now. We walked like 4 miles to our house and finished the essay. She put in the application. And she helped me with the audition material. Her and another teacher whose house I was at the other day, Miss H. And her and Miss H helping me with my audition material. I get into the school, and then I can't afford the school. And then Sarah goes, she's like, pulls me out of a rehearsal for this community theater show I was doing in Bay Ridge at the time, because I just wanted to keep doing it. And she goes, I gave your name to the scholarship foundation called the Jerry Seinfeld Scholarship Foundation. I told them your story and they want to meet you. I was like, wow, okay. So I'm like, thanks for that. I go and I meet this woman named Kate Fenneman, who I'm meeting, I think next week. And we sit like this and I just share everything. I'm like, look, this is how I grew up, single parent. I grew up in the projects. We had problems with, addiction in my family. I had a lot of things in my life growing up that could have kept me from sitting with you right now, or may have distracted me in the past. But I was like, no pun intended, but I said, all I need is one shot. I just need somebody to believe in me. So she's crying, I'm crying. I'm like, bye. You know what I'm saying?
I'm tearing up.
Yeah.
I mean, your story is incredible. You got here because a few people believed in you.
Yeah, it takes a village, It takes a village. And then, long and behold, the school's calling this guy, Chip Killingsworth from AMDA's calling me, like, Chip, just give me another day, bro. I didn't know what I was going to do another day. I was like, just give me another day. 2 hours later, Kate's like, we want to pay for your school for all 4 years. And that was because Ms. H believed in me, because Sarah believed in me, my mom, my family, It takes a village.
And what were those first phone calls like when you called them about Hamilton, A Star is Born? Like, what did you say and how did they react? My mom was super excited. She was like, oh, praise the Lord, Jesus, thank you, God. She was so hyped. My family was excited, but they didn't really understand what it was, Like, this is foreign to us, I'm the only one in the business, in my family. Like, no one in my family was even, nobody else is singing, no one else is, was acting. Now my family members are getting into it now, and which I'm loving. And but it was it was foreign to everyone, but they were excited. Broadway, that's what they could understand. So they were like, great, cool. When do we see the show? I'm like, hold up, we got to do rehearsal. There's a whole thing that goes in, And then Spike called me, and I got my first TV show with Spike, and that was major. But what's funny is my mom, I think, is kind of getting numb to it now. Like now she's kind of like I give her some news, like crazy news, and she's like, oh, that's good, Papa, congratulations, praise the Lord. Like, she's so like even keel now. I'm like, yo, how am I more hyped than like? I'm trying to share this with you right now. You seem like,
it was funny. My mother and I, we're about to actually do something together. And it's like, it's that, which I'm super excited about. But she goes, I say, yes, so Ma, you're going to get paid this much. She goes, okay, but so every time the thing plays, but do I get paid every time it plays? I was like, yo, you negotiating with me right now? I was like,
oh my God, I love that.
She's, I think she's over it.
Do you feel like you are living an American dream?
Yeah. I think I'm just living in the dream, period. But yeah, an American dream for sure. I mean, I'm grateful to be living in a country that where the sky's the limit. I mean, in spite of everything that's going on, I can still sit with you and speak freely about whatever I want to speak to you about. And I think that's a blessing. And yeah, man, I'm living a dream, especially when you get to share it with people you love and you get to like do it with your friends. And, I'm talking to labels now and having meetings and stuff. And I've been working with a friend of mine, one of my closest friends. His name is Will Wells, and he's like my executive producer / music director / everything, my right, left-hand man. And I get to bring him up now in meetings, and it's dope when you get to talk to these executives at these massive labels or studios or companies, and I'm like, I want to do this only if he does it, You're
getting there, right?
Like you
make demands.
You can, I only want to work with you if X person comes with me, and it's awesome when you can include your most talented homies, your most talented friends, your most talented squad. I think that's the dream. Because if we do this alone, I think it's like, why? Then what's the point?
So it's been important for you to keep that door open for people coming behind you that wouldn't get an opportunity otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, they may have gotten an opportunity, but if I could be the one to help, then I'm gonna do it. I mean, because again, I'd be lying if I said that all of this happened on my own. Like, I wish I could relate to Drake's song, came up, that's all me, but I don't relate to that. That's not my story. It took Will to come up to me and after off-Broadway production at Hamilton and say, have you ever made a record? And I was like, no, I never made a record. Let's do that. And boom, put my first EP out. And then wrote more songs. As a result, now I can go into label meetings and play 50 songs if I want to. And you're like, when did you write these? I wrote these last year, 3 months in LA, and I've been writing over the course of 2 years, 3 years now with him and a bunch of other people. It took a Sarah Steinwise to pay for my application when I couldn't afford it. It took a Miss H to pull me into the aisle of the auditorium in high school and look me in the eye and say, this is what you need to do for the rest of your life. It took my mom to, keep us out of trouble. When I used to get upset, she had this whistle that everybody knew in the backyard. We lived in the projects, and there was this big backyard. Everybody knew my mom's whistle.
I kind of want to hear it. Do you know how
Yeah,
it goes?
I mean, I can't do it. And she doesn't even use her head. Like, it's the thing she does with her tongue, and it's like the craziest shit. And I'm like, and she'd whistle, and it was like everybody in the backyard, no matter what we were doing, stopped. I was like, yo, hey, your mom.
She sounds like a legend.
She's a legend. She is. She's been through a lot. She raised 3 of us on her own. It takes that kind of strength to, to teach you and to help you understand what it takes to keep going in life, just to keep going. Because sometimes it gets hard to just get up. So yeah.
Single moms are superheroes.
They really are. I hope we have less though. So I hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hope there are less single moms.
And given how much being an artist means to you, what do you think of the fact that the White House plans to cut spending for arts in schools?
It's wild to think, because people turn to art for healing. more than medicine, more than any shot, you know, if every artist on the face of the planet who has Instagram or anything, could just combine all the DMs they get about your song saved my life. Your song kept me off the street. This movie kept me from doing this. This movie, you know, this thing you made helped me when my mom died, or, you know. That, I think that would exponentially like blow any medicine out the water for healing, as far as healing is concerned on this earth. And the fact that we're trying to take that away from young people, you know, and take that away from them at you know, like the fact that we're trying to pull more money into sports. I love sports. I think sports is also equally important. I feel, you know, teamwork and togetherness and the understanding of competitiveness, but also like I need another person, especially, you know, football, baseball, you know, soccer, all these sports where you need your teammates, right? But art is something that is I mean, even the way even the conversation we had before, you're like, man, just thinking about the film gets me emotional. You know, that's why we need it. So for you to take that away from young people at an early age, if I didn't have art, I don't know where I'd be. If I didn't have that teacher doing that music, they cut that program from my high school, which is crazy to me. Because if we didn't have that program, I love baseball. I don't think I'd be sitting with you if I was still playing ball, though. If I had gone to college like I had planned to play baseball and do what I was going to do, I had no vision. Art gave me a clear vision, as it does to so many. So why would we take that away from young people? It's such a mistake. But you know what? If they're not going to do it, we got to do it. Mm-hmm. All right, you want to cut funding? That's cool. I'll give $100,000 to that school. You know, we can't wait. I mean, it's like Puerto Rico. You know, the government was just like not showing up. And then on the news, we see all this news about what Trump isn't doing. And, you know, we don't even need to talk about that. Let's talk about what the people on the island are doing so people can see. These people on the island are doing remarkable things. And we can't wait on the government to do things for us. We just have to like come together and talk to one another. Mm-hmm. Converse. What's missing? How do we bridge the gap? we have to lead by example. We have to just do it, and then, you know, but anyway, to answer your question, I think it's wild. I think it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
It's a powerful response. Super powerful. So how important is it for you to kind of pick roles and pick films that are going to ignite conversations, and things like your new film, for instance, Monsters and Men, is about the impact of a police shooting. Yeah. So why did you choose that role? Was it to kind of hold up a mirror to what's going on in the country right now?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a part of that story, you know. I saw an opportunity to be a part of a story that I felt could change the trajectory of the conversation happening about police brutality and the conversation about the relationship between the cops and civilians. And I knew this guy. You know, I grew up in Brooklyn. I grew up in Bushwick. I grew up, you know, I unfortunately, I go back to the hood and hear this person died. This person in jail for 25 years. They shot this. I'm like, you know, I remember when we were having sleepovers when we were kids, you know. And I read the script, and I said to my agents at the time, I said, I don't care if I don't do another movie this year. I have to do this movie. Whatever we need to do to make this movie happen, like, let's make it happen. And I Skyped Ray, I Skyped the director, and we hit it off. I didn't even audition. He just was like, nah, I want him. and we made a movie that we're so proud of. You know, I mean, you never get to see the perspective of the police officer. You know, I have a cousin who's a detective. There's this amazing scene in the film where Dennis, played by John David Washington, he and his wife, who's played by Nicole Bahari, have this conversation with two friends of theirs at the table, and their friend is like, you know, well, how do you feel about this shooting? And John David is like, well, he was resisting arrest. And she's like, well, if I'm resisting arrest, are you gonna shoot me? And they're going back and forth at the table. And I was like, I just had this conversation with my cousin on the couch last week. But we shouldn't be afraid to have those conversations, you know? We shouldn't be afraid to speak to one another. And we also, like, you know, I think if we just had a little more grace and a little more, just that much more patience with each other, and I think we could understand each other a little better. I don't think we would agree on everything, right? But I think it would give us a little more room to figure out how to meet in the middle. And you know, and we can't solve a problem if you don't go to it. You know, I mean, all the greatest leaders they really had to take a back seat to anger, or they really had to take a back seat to reacting impulsively. You know, so I think if we sat with each other and just talked to one another, you know, we may not agree on everything, we won't, but we could definitely probably feel each other a little more and figure out how to fix these things that have been issues for so many years. You know, we talked about Black Klansman, right? He was like, oh, it's a period piece, but that ending makes you feel like it happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like how do we fix that? You know, so I think we got to talk to each other. We have to. You know, I think that's the only way.
And is it hard for you to kind of grapple with these roles that clearly hit really close to home for you? Or is that something you kind of use as in your toolbox?
No, I love it. I mean, you have to deal with things. When you play roles like that, like Manny character, you have to deal with, you know, Manny is a guy that I know. Like, I read the script and I'm like, oh, I know Manny. I know him. I know that young guy, young Puerto Rican male with one kid, young daughter, and another one on the way with a young girlfriend who's, you know, and who's finishing school and trying to, you know, both of them just trying to do better with their lives and trying to make the best of their circumstances. I was like, I know these people. I know the dentist. I know the Zyric, played, you know, Kelvin Harrison's character. So, you know, these roles forced me to deal with things within me that I didn't necessarily probably didn't deal with before, or thought I did deal with, and I'm like, oh wait, maybe I haven't hit that issue in my life, or I haven't actually I haven't dove into that, and you know, so it's just like, but these roles, I just don't want to be a liar on screen, you know. You know, you go and you do movies, and there are amazing roles out there, and people are making all sorts of incredible stuff, and then there's also some stuff that ain't so good. But it's like you just kind of figure out what's true to you, and you just dive into that. You know, it was dope playing Ramon. I mean, you know, Ramon. Everybody needs the real one in their life, you know, and you know, whether Ali had $2 in her pocket or $2 million, he was gonna love her and support her in every way. So it's how beautiful is that to play that character, you know, because I don't care how many movies I do, or how, you know, God willing, how many hit songs I ever write or whatever. It's like I need my squad, I need my tribe, because you know, if I don't have my tribe, I don't know where I'd be. So yeah, I love playing roles like this. You know, it's a little harder because it's so real, but you know, I love that. You know, I love digging deep.
It's hard to believe you're only 26. You're dropping so many wisdom bombs. I feel like I'm learning so much just talking about with you. So what kind of actor do you want to be, and how do you want the industry to look at you?
I just want to be that guy that people keep saying, wow, I didn't know he could do that. You know? It's awesome to be able to play like Mars Blackman and She's Gotta Have It, then play Ramon in A Star Is Born, and then play, Manny in Monsters and Men. And then Godzilla next year, that Godzilla that's a whole different thing, and something I've never done before. But it's like every role I do, it's just like, oh, I didn't know he could do that. Oh, I've never seen him that way. He seems, wow, I didn't think he could do that or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. I said to a teacher one time in college, and I said to her, yo, because we're friends and we're good, right? But we were in class, and I said, you thought I was gonna be a joke when you first saw me, right? And she didn't want to say yes, but she shook her head and she nodded and raised her eyebrows, sort of like I'm embarrassed to say and I don't want to say, but yeah. I was like, I bet you did. And there's no hard feelings, I know there's a lot of kids that get in this school you think may not deserve to be here or whatever, but I'm like, you got me messed up.
It's nice to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
So what is your message for the kid watching this interview right now in the projects thinking, I don't think I could ever get out like him? What would you say to that child?
Just keep hanging on. Don't give up, Don't settle for what is around you, The temporary satisfaction is never going to benefit you in the long term, It's like, think long game, long game, long game. When you want to hang out later with the homies, think about how much better you'll be tomorrow if you just go to sleep a little earlier, Don't be like me, do your homework. But it's all about the long game, man, and sometimes the long game comes quicker than you think, So just hang on and trust yourself and trust who you've been made to be, and don't worry, I'm the slowest reader in the world. I mean, I read scripts. Sometimes I have to. It takes me 2 days to read a script. Sometimes I have to break it up in parts, but you can't let that stop you from being the best you can be, because you're special and nobody's made like you. So just remember that you have something to say that the entire world can't say.
Thank you so much for your time. You're a true star. Thank you.